Hello everyone, how are you doing? My name is Ibrahim, and in this video I want to set a little challenge for myself. I set a goal for myself to learn, and master the Power Platform. And to do that, I thought challenges would be great, to kind of put my skills to get more hands-on, experience. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So we're kicking things off with a little challenge. This is beginner level. So this challenge is all about, according to the brief, it's all about automating Microsoft Forms responses to SharePoint with email notification. So I use ChatGPT to, create this ideal client brief scenario. So here's the client request. Our team needs a simple automated solution to store Microsoft Forms responses in SharePoint and notify relevant personnel via email. So pretty straightforward. This is a beginner level project. And my aim with this challenge is as we keep going, it keeps getting much more, advanced. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here's a little bit more context. So we're going to create Power Automate flow. So this project is it's all about Power Automate. So that captures responses from a Microsoft form, and then it saves them in a SharePoint list. And then after that, it sends an email notification upon each submission. So here are some steps we're going to perform. First of all, we're going to create a Microsoft form. Then we're going to create a corresponding SharePoint list. And if you don't have any idea what SharePoint list is, if you don't have any idea what SharePoint is, it's basically like a CMS, a content management system for internal teams. So a list is just a way for storing, relevant details, whether it's company details or attachments, files. So you can store all that in a list. So then we're going to build a Power Automate flow with trigger. Here's our trigger and here's our action. So here we just some, more relevant details. If you want to explore it, the deliverables, we're going to create an automated workflow, checkpoint list and real-time email notifications. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, we need to create a Microsoft form. So I went ahead to create a little form, to save time. I added some simple details, full name, email address, ratings, rate our service from 1 to 5. You can click whatever choice they want, and also what they like about your service and suggestions for improvements. You can go ahead to duplicate this form, if you want to use it as your own. So now that we got our form created, now we need to create a SharePoint list. So to do that, we're gonna have to go into SharePoint. Here's my SharePoint site that I created. Nothing too special. I can create a video how I, when I had to create this site, using SharePoint. It's just a basic site, basic simple site. So here's my site, and to create our list, we got to create a new, then new list. So we're gonna wait for it to load. So yeah, we need to create a list. So you can enter a name for your list. I'm just gonna name it customer onboarding form. You can show this in site navigation. So I'm gonna go ahead to show that. I'm gonna click on create. So I have my form here to just kind of look at. It's gonna guide the list that I'm going to create. I need to add exactly all these details into my SharePoint list. So creating a list is pretty straightforward. You can add, it's similar to a table. You can add different columns to the table. So all the things you're storing is going to be storing within these columns. So here's a title. It comes along, it's like an identifier. So you can add new columns. So first we're gonna add a full name column. So it's going to be like a text. You can see the interface is similar to creating a Microsoft form. So it's pretty straightforward. So it's going to be like a text. So we're just going to name it exactly like this, full name. So you can enter a default value if you choose to, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as this. A single line of text. You can change it to like multiple line of text, but we'll go with this. So I'm just going to click on save. And yeah, we got a column created. So next we need to create an email address column. So the same thing is going to be text. So email address, single line of text is okay for me. So I'm going to click on save. And next we're going to create a ratings column. So this column is going to be like a multiple choice column. So I'm going to click on choice, then next. That will be Ray. I'm just going to name it exactly as I did with my Microsoft form, create a service. Let me just name it as this. So the first choice is going to be 1, second choice is going to be 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can go ahead to change the colors of all these ratings here to signify 1 as red and 5 as green, but I'm just going to leave it as this. You're going to click on save. And what else do we got? We got, what did you like about our service? So this is probably going to be multiple line of text. So that will be multiple line of text. What did you like about our service? So I'm just going to click on save. Then next, any suggestion for improvement. So that's the last one. That will also be multiple line of text. So any suggestions for improvement. So I'm going to click on save. So now we got our SharePoint list created. So now next, I think we need to create a flow. So we need to build a Power Automate flow. This is a trigger when a new response is submitted through Microsoft Forms. Then our actions, we're going to get the response details. Then we're going to create an item in SharePoint. And lastly, we send an email notification, whether to like a specific email or perhaps whoever is filling the form. So let's just go back here. So now we got our list created. So now I'm going to go to Power Automate. So I'm going to click on New Flow. That will be an automated cloud flow. So I'm just going to name it Customer Onboarding. Yeah, I can name it this. So here's what's going to be our trigger when a new response is created, is submitted rather. So we're going to click on Create. So we're just going to wait for it to load. So now we got our trigger. So we can use Copilot to describe whatever you want to do, but in this video, I'm going to like do something much more practical. So you're going to pick the form. That will be our customer onboarding form. So I've connected to Microsoft Forms already, but if you haven't, you can go ahead to connect. It's going to prompt you to like connect if you haven't already. So let me collapse this. And now we need to create our action. Our first action is to create, is to get response details. So now let's do just that. Let me click on the plus. You can just search for response. Or let me click on get response. Get response details. So a unique identifier for the form. Here's a form to the customer onboarding form, and the unique identifier, you can just use the dynamic value to click on the response ID. So it's going to be like collecting all responses to this ID. So I'm going to collapse this. So we got our first action created. Next, we need to create an item in SharePoint. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've already connected to my SharePoint already. So let me just search for item, create item. So I'm going to connect to my SharePoint site, and of course my SharePoint list also. That will be my customer onboarding form. Okay, so now that I've connected, so you can choose our parameters to choose exactly what, details to create. So our full name, our email, rate our service, what did you like about our service, and suggestions for improvements. So that's pretty much what we wanted to create. So I'm just gonna I think that's pretty much it. Just gonna collapse this. So for our full name, we need to get like the full name ID. So I'm just gonna enter a dynamic value. So that would be full name from the forms, dynamic value for email address, and for rate or service value, just click on backslash, enter custom value, backslash, insert dynamic content. Wait a minute. Enter custom down. So here's our dynamic content. We're trying to rate our service from 1 to 5. Okay. And then what did you like about our service? We're also gonna insert a dynamic value for that. And lastly, suggestions for improvement. So yeah, we got our item created. And lastly, we need to send an email. I think that's pretty much the last step, right? Yeah, send an email notification using Outlook. So let's do that. Gonna click on the plus. Is this even working? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna search Outlook. So we need to send an email. So I'm gonna go with the version 2. So mostly I think it will be much better to send an email to like a specific Outlook account. So I'm just gonna like enter an email that I have already. Let me check exactly how it goes. Ibrahim, so yeah, there it is. Because mostly people filling the form perhaps wouldn't have. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, there we go. Perhaps I don't have like an Outlook account, so I'm just gonna use an account I have already to test. So subjects, I can just say thanks or thank you for your feedback. I can enter like a first name if I choose. But let me just check to see if it's gonna work. Full name. So the body, let's just say hello. Full name. Thanks for your feedback. Here are your responses. So I'm just gonna enter the dynamic content for all the responses, for the full name, the email address. Actually, I'm just gonna put this below. The email address, the ratings. Let me put this below. The ratings, and of course the improvements. What did you like about a service? I could just keep it here, but let me see if there's the improvements column here. Yeah, there we go. Any suggestions for improvement? So basically, this is going to show exactly that whatever I input in the Microsoft in the form is going to like put it in the email. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to collapse this. And yeah, we can go ahead to test our flow if it actually works. Let me save this first. So we can go ahead to test this. So first, I need the link to this form. Select responses. Then copy the link. Then I'll try to like open this in an incognito tab. And see, and yeah, manually. So let's test this manually. So it's waiting for us to test this. So let me try to open like an incognito tab. See if it's gonna work. I can just pretty much do it here. Nothing wrong with that. So let me open it in here. So let me try to input anything. Let me input my name. Let me input a like a random email. And for ratings, I'm just gonna click on 5 because why not? What did you like about our service? For that, I'm just gonna input I like the customer support chatbot, whatever. Any suggestions for improvements? I'm just gonna say none, to make things quick. So I'm gonna click on submit. And yeah, a response has been submitted. So let's see if this actually works. And if we have any issues, we can try to fix this together. And it seems, yeah, everything works just fine. It's all ticked. If it didn't work, it's gonna like show an X here. So let's actually see if I'll get an email. And let me check my SharePoint list to see if it has been updated. So let me see. It might take some time to reflect. I can try to like refresh this. See if it actually shows after refreshing. And yeah, wow, it actually works. So you can see our SharePoint list has been updated. Here's my name, here's my details. So here are my details. And next, I need to actually check out my email to see if it actually drops and our task is going to be successful. And wow, it actually works. And there we go. It seems we're actually done with this. So thank you for your feedback. Here are your responses. Here's my name, my email, my rating, my feedback and suggestions for improvement. And yeah, we're done with the task. We're done with the project. That's pretty much it. It was a successful job. So thanks for watching, guys. It was pretty interesting. So we learned how to, in summary, we learned how to create a Microsoft form, create a SharePoint list, we'll create our automated flow, and yeah, we created a flow that captures responses from a Microsoft form, then it saves it in a SharePoint list, and it also notifies whoever fills the form on the responses. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Cheers.